Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever or whenever you may be. This is the overnight. I am DM Foss, and tonight I've got Iron Road. How's it going, Iron Road?
Oh, same old, same old. Just glad that tomorrow's Sunday because it's going to be my first day off for a bit.
Ah, and Baron SVG. How's it going?
Burn it all down.
All right. Start with the
This
strong
is a
statement.
prepping show after all. Burn it all down.
Oh, so tonight we are going to pretend like we have $1,000 and prep with it. What do you buy? What do you not buy? And I figured we're not prepping for the end of the world, but for interruption of service. Maybe you think a month?
How about the end of the cul-de-sac?
Do you think look at maybe surviving a month without services, or is that too long for $1,000?
Depends on time of year, I would imagine. Like if you're having to heat your house and run a generator, that's going to be a lot of gas.
Yeah.
Unless you're a wood stove prepper.
Very true.
Yeah, I guess also, your location. So if, you're in Colorado, it'll be a lot different than if you're in Florida.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll have to stay somewhere in the middle and keep it kind of general, something that might apply to everybody.
And applies to no one at the same time.
Yeah. There we go. It's all a sham. And for those out in the live chat, so while I'm talking about the live chat, let me go see who was out there. Gunpowder Beauty. Good evening, ma'am. Kingpin. G20. G23. Gun-toting pacifist. And Moo. 2Live Moo. I think that's who's out there right now. Oh, Defense Dad. Yeah, all right. So, input from the live chat is appreciated. So we'll do this as a community. Make decisions and whatnot. Misha N. Good evening.
Yeah, last time I mentioned a wood stove in a prepping chat, somebody's like, I live in Arizona, asshole. What do you think I'm going to be burning? It's like, yeah, you got a point.
Sagebrush.
So, so say for about a month, so you're prepared for about a month. Anything else? Any other parameters we should throw in there?
Is it for a family or just you?
Ooh.
Because that affects a lot.
Yes.
Family of 5 on 1,000 versus just one guy.
Yeah. Let's say 3 people. And maybe a family of 3.
Are we allowed to eat any of them?
Not while they're alive.
Okay.
Family of 3 with a cat and a dog named Whiskers and Spot.
Oh, that throws in another monkey wrench there. You got to have pet food.
Tune in next week when we answer the real questions.
I didn't think about pets. Yeah.
And it all depends on what type of pet you have. Cat, dog, goldfish, parrot.
Well, we'll go with the dog.
If it's a goldfish, I'm eating it.
And Pacifist is asking, do I have to include my ex-wives? No, you
No.
don't. They're on their own. I don't know the circumstances for the split, but they gone.
Did he mean as a food source?
There you go. Whatever.
Does this wife taste gamey? No, it tastes kind of tastes
Try
kind of
the other
bitchy.
one.
Oh,
So 3 people, a family of 3, and a dog, a medium-sized dog, medium to smallish.
and this is assuming that we have guns and ammo and all that.
Yeah, just because a gun would be at least, unless you're going like high point, it's a big chunk, and assuming that probably most of the people participating, are gonna already have one.
I would hope so. If you're listening to this channel, you should have a gun by now.
And also knives. You've got most
Cutlery.
people will have kitchen knives and stuff, so and those will suffice for to get you through a month.
Question. Are we allowed to break the law in this scenario?
I would say we won't, just because it's not an end of the world scenario. If it was
So
end of the
I'll
world,
have to include a hunting license.
oh
See what I mean?
yeah, why you gotta make this difficult?
That's my job, man.
I mean,
Well,
if push came to shove, you would be flipping the bird to ODFW, or not ODFW, but your state's Department of Fish and Game. So
Well, for those 30 days, I don't think that would be a problem. It's just afterwards they might come after you.
Mm-hmm.
well, if it were me, I would definitely prioritize, having some actual food, and I mean actual food. I'm not talking about, I'm talking about your actual grocery stuff. But all in all, after you get that secured for a family of 3, and then the dog food, I would probably look into something as a filler. And what I mean by that, probably look into like those MREs, and not the shitty kind. I mean like the ones that you buy from like My Patriot Supply or whatnot.
Yeah, the MREs are freeze dried.
Yeah.
The MREs have a shorter shelf life. The freeze dried, like if you go Mountain House, they say 25 years, 20 or 25 years, something like that.
25.
Yep.
And well, we'll get into those in a minute.
Longer if you're brave.
So we crap.
Should we do the spiel before we get into this?
Oh yeah. Hang on. Hold on, let me get a banner going. So down there's at the bottom of the screen, there's an email and a link that'll get you somewhere, so you can send in comments or suggestions or Gorn. Excuse me. And in the description, there's a link to the overnight Gilded server. Place to hang out, talk to one another, share memes, share pictures, shoot the shit, stuff like that. And anything else? Is that basically it?
Don't be scared when you join. There is a picture of Hillary Clinton on the general page immediately when you join.
That's just to help scare away the timid.
Yep.
I think that's everything. We've got a midget with carrot cake out there. Good evening.
That's got to be a funny thing to think about, or just paint that image in your head. midget carrot cake.
I think that's a reference to, it was a while ago from one of Yankees' chats.
Or Matt.
Well, Yankees the big one on midgets, and he hates carrot cake.
Oh man.
So, all right, back to our prepping. So we've got family of 3 with a dog, medium size-ish dog, and a neutral territory. So it applies to most kind of people. Is that enough for parameters? Or?
So it's urban.
We'll say
country?
suburban.
Do my
it's
neighbors feed
in
birds in their yards? Is there a local rat population living off that guy's bird feeder?
Well, you'll get squirrels feeding off
Yep.
the bird feeders.
Same difference. They just got a fluffy tail.
Again, that I would consider that more towards
And if you have suppressed 22.
end of the world, So you had supplies, but now you're.
Well, that's just we're getting dog food.
Yeah, that's a. Well,
Dog can eat a squirrel.
My dog does.
There you
Well,
go.
he doesn't eat them. He'll kill them.
You got to cook them up first, right?
We're not making it very far, so on our prepping, we're dying because we're not prepared.
So far, I could tell you right now, if I were to spend $1,000 in prepping, I would be royally screwed in terms of power because I rely on the public power grid and living in my little tiny studio apartment. And I could tell you this, they ain't going to let me run a freaking generator.
Well, the first thing I was thinking is batteries. AA and AAA batteries. Big pack of lithium.
Oh, yeah.
AA and AAA batteries.
Just to run radios and stuff.
Flashlights or from what I've heard, the lithium ones don't leak like the alkaline do.
No, they just blow up.
Yeah, they give you heat. And the shelf life is longer. So if you needed to store them for longer, the last
angry
longer.
heat. Do HOA rules still apply?
Can we eat the housing committee?
For the term of the emergency, the HOA rules are suspended.
Okay.
So if
I can finally have that clothesline in my backyard.
Oh God.
Yeah, hang drying clothes. Good luck doing that during the frickin' fall and winter in the Pacific Northwest. Always sunny Washington, Oregon.
So if we get batteries, we'll say $50 for batteries for both AA, AAA lithiums, and that'll be probably about 16, pack of 16, I think. We can go get bigger, but then we're looking at $100 just on batteries for.
I'd rather get less batteries, the rechargeable ones, and then a solar recharger for like the same price.
But
we're only making it a month.
Yeah. That's kind of where you fall in between short term, prepping for a short term, and then something that's good to have in case it turns longer. So I think we'll stick more short term just because otherwise it makes it a little more difficult for this exercise. Gun-toting pacifist says no batteries.
Interesting.
I agree.
Ooh, I do. One thing that's an idea for me. I don't have a furnace, but if you do, stock up on your on a couple of quarts of motor oil so you could do a couple changes or whatever. And not saying you're going to drive 3,000 miles in a month, but however, reusing that motor oil to burn in your furnace is going to be good.
Uh,
And what are those called? Waste oil
Yeah.
furnaces?
Candles also for one, and maybe spare sleeping bags and blankets if you don't already have them.
oh yeah, candles. I'm using Amazon for a lot of price checking just because it's easy. There's everything. Excuse me. Here.
I find that Amazon tends to be an average.
Because I do have some emergency candles. I have the UCO. They come in a little metal case. I've never used them, so I'm not sure how well they work, but hopefully never have to use them.
I'm a genius. So you know what I did?
What's that?
I went on Amazon. I typed in 1 month survival kit. Guess what they have?
A 1 month survival kit?
No, they don't.
Oh.
That would have made things easier, though.
I'm surprised they don't. I mean, it would be crap, but
They got like 72-hour ones, stuff like that. They do have 12 months of emergency food for $888. That's suspect. Amazon Nazi confirmed.
well, at the My Patriot Supply, a 4-week.
Jeff Bezos is bald.
The 4-week food supply is $297, but I would think most people would probably have close to a week of food in their house. Yes, no, you think?
Roughly.
Not me.
Yeah.
I mean, I have emergency food, but I don't have like refrigerator food for a week.
Well, like cans of stuff or box cereals or anything. You don't have any of that?
I got some expired SpaghettiOs.
They're probably good. As long as the can isn't bulging, you're probably all right. Or dented. If you get dents around the rims, then you can get listeria.
Yeah, I saw people buying dented cans for survival storage long term. I was like, just because it's cheaper, but that's going to expire sooner. What are you doing?
What I saw, it was one of the prepping shows, like on Discovery or whatever, and it was somebody that canned their own food, and they said even if it goes bad, they're not concerned about it. They're still going to eat it, which is a huge mistake to me because if you get diarrhea really bad, you're dehydrated. That kills people around the world from drinking bad water. And then they get diarrhea and dehydrated and pass away.
Hey, G-Webs, how's it going?
Good evening. Just got back from, I think, 6 hours of playing D&D. So
really?
play D&D for 6 hours at a time now. That's my thing.
Did you go down to like the library or tournament or something like that? Or
no, there's a bunch of dudes that made up gun websites back in the day, and one of the dudes, well, a couple of them have kids. One of the kids plays D&D now, so because I have before we played, it's pretty fun. I haven't played in forever, since the 80s probably, and yeah, it's still the same. It's kind of pretty fun actually.
Yeah, I
Anyway,
haven't played
sorry, Mike.
since the 80s.
Absolutely.
Oh, no problem. Thanks for showing up. This is, I stole this topic from you. We're not getting very far because we can't decide on anything.
I wasn't sure if it was 10 or 11, so I'm only 20 minutes late.
It's all right.
But I
We
mean,
haven't
not
made-
an hour and 20, right?
Yeah. So where was I?
I was in the middle of derailing the entire discussion, I think.
Here, I would throw in there, since it's a little bit on both subjects. People often, when they're talking about survival stuff, don't think about entertaining themselves and passing time and keeping people that are freaking out occupied.
Oh,
So
yeah.
throwing in some cards and stuff like that, some dice, some
Deck of
simple
cards,
games.
board games.
There's like a couple of games. I think there's like a paddle thing that I've seen that's like, sort of like 10 games in one type of thing, like something like that, right? Where you get like a bunch of bang for your buck.
That was when I was growing up. That was when we would play when there'd be power outages. That's when we'd play board games. The family would just sit down and the kids would play board games and stuff.
Do you have a favorite one?
Oh, I guess from the games we had, probably Monopoly. It was one that lasted a long time, and usually it would come down to my older sister and I, just trading money back and forth.
I liked Risk.
I've only played Risk a couple times with friends. Hancho Fett's out there.
You
Good
can play
evening.
Risk like, hey, let's play a game. Oh, let's play Risk. Or you can play Risk like, on Fridays we play Risk.
Newark Outcast is out there. And Gunmetal Guy USA. Sorry, I missed him when he jumped in. So back to what we were talking about. Games, yep. Cards. Like when I travel, I usually have a deck of cards, just if I have to entertain the kids. It's something for them to play with. Whether you're playing an actual game or they're just tearing up the cards, it gives them something to do.
You can play, what do you call that, where you make a house cards? Kind of like dominoes, you stack them.
Yeah.
Does it have a name?
House of Cards.
I think it's called making a house of cards or something.
Yeah.
I know they would make me do it when I was a little kid. That was like a thing to make a kid, especially like, here's a tray table, go make a house of cards. Like, you'd spend the rest of your life trying to make that happen, right? Like if it was a wobbly surface.
Outcast makes an interesting point. He definitely would buy some Gatorade. I think I would buy something similar too, like Gatorade, Powerade, Pedialyte, something that has electrolytes in it.
Have you stored any of that stuff ever? Like, it doesn't store good. Sugar doesn't store like, right?
Oh,
I've
Pedialyte.
got powdered Gatorade.
That's what I'm saying. I've got powdered
Well,
Gatorade. Years.
Well, Gatorade. Well, this is only for like a month, so I mean.
Oh yeah, we're looking at like interruption of services, not end of the world. So maybe a month.
Well, but still having the stuff on call so that you can have it indeterminate time. I mean, in my experience, packing away Gatorade in Arizona, where you wouldn't think it's super humid, it just turned into a big clump of like Gatorade rock.
I did have some. I use them for work, because I'll sweat at work. So water wasn't quite enough. You'd still when you start to get a little dehydrated and your lips get kind of that goopy. Yeah. So I have a little 20-ounce thing of water with the Gatorade powder that I'll put in there.
The Border Patrol uses something. I think it's called Squinch or something else, and it's like in little like packet things, and you pour it into a bottle of water, so it's all powder, but there's no sugar in it. And a couple of times, whenever they first started using it, they gave it away, and I tried it, and it was really good without any sugar, like just really good.
I've tried other ones, but the ones that I tried had way too much citric acid in it, and it kind of burned.
Yeah, you can get like heartburn real easy from those kind of things. Yeah.
I know when I was in Okinawa, and for the people that was in my squadron that deployed to Isa Bahrain, when we were there, you're out there in 90, 85-degree weather, and when it's out there in Okinawa with like 75% humidity, but out there in Isa, it's like 116. It was almost mandatory to have a camel pack or like a water bladder, and we were handing those powdered Gatorade stuff out like candy. And the thing is that I would almost. What's that?
Oh, I thought you don't. Sorry. Have you tried the Camelback version of the? It's like a tablet, and I think you're just supposed to put it in the Camelbacks, but it's like
to like clean it.
No, sorry, for like drink. It's not good though. I don't like it. I didn't prefer it.
Haven't tried that. I more or less when it comes to my Camelbacks, I used bottled water to fill that up. I don't use anything else. I don't use tap water. I don't use. It has to come from a bottle and nothing else. The only thing I'll ever dare fill that up is there's a nearby creek spigot where the water is flowing through it, 365 days a year, and it's mountain runoff, and it goes all through that sediment and gets filtered out. That's the only thing I would ever fill that up. And there was for whatever reason you get hung over during this interruption of services, I would definitely look into something to recover from that. And that's why I said Pedialyte. And there was this one thing that my supervisor gave me 2 years ago when I got really drunk on Memorial Day weekend. It was basically the Japanese version of Pedialyte. They call it Aquarius. Really, really good. That stuff was like witchcraft to me. It practically resurrected me from the dead. I tell you.
Let me say hello to Guns Barbecue and Justin Grimm, which I lost his comment. So I know you're out there. I just can't highlight you because I now have lost you. There you go. Oh, thank you. We found you.
You were lost, now you are found.
Yeah, there's I think Vegas, there's buses that'll give you an IV and drive you home. If you have too much, you can pay to get an IV and a ride home.
Speaking of IV, maybe stock up on some uncommon medical supplies. People think like a first aid kit, but I would think, other things like snake bite, bee bite, bee sting type of stuff. Extra band-aids for boo-boos and stuff.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's
kind of goes without saying, though.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's minor, first aid stuff is hopefully stuff you already have.
Yeah, but that's the other thing though, is that the times that I've come home expecting to think and I get a boo boo and I expect that I still have band-aids in there and I don't in my medicine cabinet. It's been one too many times. You know what I mean?
Well, one of the best band-aids is just paper towel and tape. Music Logic was out there, but I think he's probably going to bed. I don't think we're going to spend our $1,000 because we're not getting anywhere.
Let's see here.
Should we just forget the dollar amount and kind of just talk about stuff that you should have?
I can take a swing at it. $1,000.
Sure.
Electric tapes has done some.
So we got what? 3 people?
3 people and a dog.
3
Okay.
people and a dog.
I'm gonna get a month's worth of freeze dried food, just so I don't have to ever worry about this for the next 25 years. You know, the $1,000 I spend is gonna be spent for the next 25 years. I'm buying a month for each of us, so that's 3 months total. We'll add a 4th. So the Amazon thing was 12 months for $888. So if I get 4, what's the math on that?
So you're doing a year's worth?
No, I'm just saying, like, if a year's worth is $888, 4 months would be $300.
Well, the My Patriot has a 4 week for $297, so we'll say $300.
For 3 people?
One person for 28 days.
Okay, well, this I'm getting 3 people for a month for $300,
Oh, okay.
plus an extra one for in case one of them's fat.
And when you look at freeze dried,
Yeah.
the only 2 that I have really looked into was Mountain House and we've already mentioned the other one earlier. The cheap, it's usually the cheaper one, the one that's cheaper. What's the other brand?
I got no idea.
It's always on sale. And I have Wise. Wise is the other one. They're cheaper and usually on sale, but they use soy as a protein supplement. Mountain House has actual freeze-dried meat. But I have the Wise too, just because it's better than not having it.
I'd probably look into getting like a barbecuer that could use briquettes or wood or something like that.
I've got that was one thing I was going to bring up is I've got a tri-fuel little cook stove.
Yeah.
So it can run off propane.
Multi-fuel cook stoves. That way
Yeah.
you got something that you could use.
And they're only like $30, $35.
Well,
And
because
then another
the thing is, sorry.
It's gonna just say for a pack of like butane, like a 12 pack of butane bottles, that's another $30-$40.
Okay, to finish my $1,000, I'm gonna buy $200 worth of dog food. That's more than enough for a month.
Yeah,
You just keep rotating. You
that
let them eat the oldest one, and then you buy a new one, and you just keep replacing. So you can always have extra dog food.
that's what I do. Is I've got the container that we feed out of, and then I've got a big bucket with a seal, and then that'll have dog food. And then once the feeder container's empty, the bucket goes into the feeder container, and then I refill the bucket.
And the cool thing about dog food, humans can eat dog food. So there's extra food in case this goes longer. The rest of the money, I am getting water and Gatorade. And that's it. That's my $1,000.
Misha
Get me
says
through a month.
something funny in the chat. So if Iron has a boat, he spent his $1,000 fixing it.
That's what I've heard a lot of people say. The 2 happiest days of their lives is when they bought their boat and when they sold their boat.
You know, it's not fun trying to sell a boat. That's actually hard.
Yeah, it's a lot harder than trying to sell a car. And it's just the fact that they're, not like what happens is that reason why people tend to hate boats is because they buy them, they use them like one season, they put them away without doing the post, maintenance on or postseason maintenance on, making sure all the salt and sediment or minerals in the fresh salt water is out of them. And also, some people get really, messed up when they try to take their boats to a boat repair shop because they haven't been turning the engine on occasionally because they just let it there sit and sit and sit before and then they expect it to run the day they go out the day they try to go out on the water.
Let me say hi to Caucasian Sasquatch. How's it going? Good to see you.
An albino
Thanks for
Sasquatch. Well, that'll be interesting.
Apparently, I said I was going to eat my dog.
Did you? Oh no.
I think I said you can eat dog food, but I might have said you can eat your dog.
No,
No,
it
you said
sounded like you were going to let your
Humans
youngest
can
dog
eat
eat
dog
your
food.
oldest. It sounded like you're going to let your youngest dog eat your oldest dog in the rotation.
I'll end up with the best dog at the end of this, right?
as
But
a
What
child,
am I missing?
I have eaten dog food, and then I will eat dog food now and again because it grosses my wife out.
I did that for $50 like 2 years ago.
Who's the sucker that gave you $50 to eat dog food?
I had to eat 5 dog treats.
What?
So I've done
Now,
that.
are these like the big milk bones or whatever?
These were like something with like crushed up bone meal in the center. It was pretty gross.
It ain't going to kill you, though. There's no way.
No, I didn't.
Give you a shiny coat.
But getting back to my question, what am I missing out of my 1,000?
You got so far. What do you got? You got
Freeze-dried food, dog food, water, Gatorade.
Filters.
Half my money's on food, half my money's on liquids.
you got anything for in case the power goes out? Potential lighting source like candles, electric,
The sun.
lights,
I'm going to go to bed when light goes down.
sunrise to sunset.
That's when you get killed.
That's what the dog's for.
I think that
It ain't
covers your-
nothing to have a bunch of AA batteries. And if you buy AA batteries that recharge off the sun, you're even better off. So I would say can't go wrong having rechargeable AA's.
Generally, if your electricity is not working, your water's not running. Is it generally when
No.
something like that? No. So I'd probably look into getting a big old drum to collect some rainwater if that's possible, and if not, do also looking maybe to get some a metal bucket, because I'll tell you what, not having warm water to bathe in sucks. So, ask me how I know.
I've done it camping. It's not that bad.
Oh, camping, it's not that bad, but the thing is, when you're in a freaking on a naval base and power goes out, and you got a bathtub, and the water works, but the thing is, the water's tepid because the water heater's out. Whew, kind of a different feeling.
I've seen people say this before. What if your tub isn't clean, though? Like you scrubbing that thing every day.
In that case, if you're,
Even if it's super gross, it's cleaning water and water for washing dishes and that kind of stuff that you need water for.
Yeah, but I've seen people say they're going to drink it.
oof.
Well, you can filter it. No matter how gross it is in your bathtub, you'll be able to filter it.
yeah, if you can boil it, it'd be all right.
Ugh.
Who cares if there's a couple of dead skin cells?
I'm getting dared to eat some dog treats again. Who's going to give me $50? I'll turn on the webcam.
I'll do it for free.
just to get back at the wife.
As far as batteries, you're saying I need batteries? All of my flashlights are rechargeable?
Batteries are in terms of like candles, in terms of lighting, you know.
Yeah, but all my lights are rechargeable.
I've got some
And-
rechargeable, but most of mine uses batteries. I just, if it's easier to replace the battery, and when you're thinking short term.
Maybe you're missing my point. The batteries are rechargeable.
Yes, I got that.
So like the AA battery
how
inside
do
the
you-
flashlight.
And how do you recharge? Is this a type of is the rechargeable thing plug into a wall outlet, or does it
USB.
USB? Okay. Because I've seen those like wireless phone chargers that use the sunlight and stuff, but I've also had experience with like when they first came out with those rechargeable batteries that you plug into a wall, and you could have rechargeable AA, AAA batteries and stuff. And I could tell you this, those things only hold a charge for about maybe a good solid month before I needed to recharge them. And once I recharged them from dead to good, they only started holding charges for 2 and eventually just 1 week, and they just completely suck. So I definitely look into.
Gun-toting pacifist does not believe in the batteries. He's getting angry out there.
Get away from the batteries.
I would agree.
I'll say I have batteries, and I have some rechargeable stuff, and I even got there's a couple of those hand crank radio flashlight things somewhere around here. I think should be in one of them in the emergency pack. But I like to keep the batteries. I used to have a bunch of rechargeables when my son was younger, just for the toys, just because you end up burning through so many batteries for kid toys. But water, is a big one. You can't see it because I got the flags. They're blocking, I forget how many gallons of water. 1, 2, 3, 4. I think there's 60 something gallons, I think, over there on those shelves. I've got most of them are the 3-gallon, 2.5, or I think they're 3-gallon containers, which I went with smaller containers so my wife could move them, because I've got some of the 5-gallon ones too, down on the floor. But she would have trouble moving those around if something happened to me. Gun-toting pacifist said if we lose power tomorrow, the Earth can run for about 11 minutes total on the amount of battery power in the entire world. Yes, I am not saying that batteries are the end-all, be-all solution. It's just good to have. I think it's good to have some batteries.
But for this situation, if I don't have any batteries, is it going to kill me for a month?
No.
Yeah. Actually, if someone's like breaking into houses, they would probably go break into the house that has power as opposed to the one that doesn't, wouldn't you think? If they're looking for goodies.
Yeah, that's a possibility.
But generally that comes out a sign of being prepared too, so they would also kind of think that guy probably has a gun too.
Well,
it's steer clear.
I don't know, because I don't think that way, but I honestly don't think they would consider that.
Yeah, when their kid's starving to death and they're your next door neighbor and they see your generator and your house has power, it kind of makes you a target.
That's what there's when there's outages, the generators get stolen. I've read a lot of stories about people that they'll get their generator stolen, and what the thieves will do is if there's a lawnmower, gas powered lawnmower that you leave out, they'll start the lawnmower and then take the generator. So you still hear that sound of a running motor. And you.
So, I'm just going to say, if you think that if you're going to have a generator and be the only one in the neighborhood with a generator, you don't think the police are going to come take your generator, or like a hospital or a nursing home? Like, you know what I mean? Like, there's going to be other people that are eyeballing your stuff besides just petty criminals.
The hospital should have their own generators. At least around here, they do, and they are priority for
excuse me,
during power outages. They are priority for the power companies. So I knew somebody that lived on the same street, and his power was rarely out for very long because it always got turned back on.
Well, it all depends on what type of generator you have too, because like, yeah, sure, we all think of the mobile back, spare ones that we keep in the shed or whatnot, but then, like, for example, you look at my aunt who lives way out in the sticks, and she's got a backup in-ground generator. Like, there's no way you're going to remove that out of the concrete unless you have, the construction equipment necessary to do it.
I thought about that. Really considered getting one. Because my concern is losing the power for any length of time. You're losing whatever's in your freezer and refrigerator. So if those are stocked, you lose it all eventually. But I read too many stories, and even Moo had mentioned that buying his generator, his whole house generator, he never used it, so it was kind of a waste. So I did get a portable one that was big enough it'll run both the fridge and freezer if I ever need to.
Well, and like I said, I guess it all depends on where you live. I mean, do you live in a place where power regularly goes out or no? And then things, in the case of like my aunt living way out in the sticks where she does, there's multiple places in which power lines could be knocked down through storms and snow and stuff, and it could take, Columbia River Public Utilities Department an entire week, if not 2 weeks, to get everything cleared out in a reasonable amount of time.
That's what. Yeah, if I lived farther out in the country, then I probably would have gone with the whole house one. Because when I was talking to my wife, she wanted something that would run the whole house, run the furnace and all that, and I was kind of more like, well, we just need, maybe some lights, and then keep the fridge and freezer going. Let me say hey to Ken Thompson. Good evening. Gun-toting pacifist says he had to use his 3 times in 5 years. It was worth it to keep the kids entertained. And that's he's talking about his generator.
Yeah, just going off the scenario we talked about at the beginning, you're not going to freeze to death during the winter in the place we said we were doing the $1,000. You're also
I would not spend
AC in the summer.
I wouldn't spend any of that money on a generator.
No.
I have a generator, but it's not for, it's for prolonged interruption of services.
Unless you have a giant thing of gas and oil and other things you might need to maintain a motor, then those things are just for bumps. I mean, like you can't depend on a gas motor for long term unless there's a supply of gas.
Yeah, you need a propane tank, big one.
Well, solar, as I would say, accomplishes everything everybody's talking about: task, use, constant trickle, recharge, completely silent, inexpensive purchase or startup. And you can definitely go whole house if you want to. I guess you have to worry about somebody seeing your solar panels and assuming, but not in Arizona. Not that they give you solar panels or pay you to put solar panels in your house. Everybody has them.
There's
Well,
there's in Washington, which is I think it's going away the end of this year. There's a subsidy for solar panels. So I have a neighbor that they put solar panels up.
and that's really dependent on where you live, though, because like Arizona, yeah, there's no subsidy, but it's also a no-brainer because it's darn near sunshine 365 days a year.
Solar
But
panels work everywhere as long as you don't expect them to run a arc welder. They'll
well,
lights and small stuff, radios, that kind of thing.
there's no doubt that the solar panels have improved since the 2016 that I've read. But even then, like I'm still looking at some of the like the data specs on some of the solar panels and the amount of energy that can be captured per square inch of solar panel these days. It's still not up to par where it needs to be. And when I read this article, it was about how much you're making off your investment if you put solar panels on the roof of your house, and ignoring the variability way back then, it was like 15 years, and granted, even though we've made some improvements, it's only removed about 5 years off of that current time frame. So now it takes like 10 years to get back on get your money's worth out of the investment to save on like power bills and stuff. But in terms of like prolonged shortage and trying to, like outages and stuff, then it probably would be worth its weight in gold at that point.
Chris Winsett's saying 28 and a half years for payback on the panels in his area. And there's other reasons too to get to get solar panels. If you, some people just don't want to be on the grid. If possible, they want to get away from that. And depending on how well it works for you, you got situations like in California now where the power company can control your thermostat, so they have power over that because their infrastructure cannot handle the load that's on it, the electrical grid. Okay.
Who's next? I did my 1,000. Need a volunteer.
So, Iron Road, go ahead.
My list of stuff to get for with $1,000.
Yep.
Roughly this. For me, in my circumstance, in my tiny square foot apartment, I would definitely invest into some freeze dried food. That's for sure.
And remember, you're doing 3 people and a dog.
Yeah, I got to.
So it's not your situation you're in right now. It's the situation.
Just not myself.
Yeah.
Obviously, the dog food. Granted, seeing how small of a place I live in at the point in time, and seeing, just thinking of fitting 3 people and a dog in here, definitely would look into getting some blankets, spare blankets, because winter's all starting to come on. In case if electricity goes out, I got no way to heat my apartment at the point in time. No way. Definitely look into getting some water drinking water, bottled drinking water. and probably look into storing finding ways to store gas. That's for darn sure. Because even if even if services are out, I still got to go to work and drive to areas where I might be able to find stuff.
Night G23.
Locking gas cap.
Yeah, there you go. Locking gas cap.
You guys have one?
I don't have a gas cap.
That's odd.
How do you keep your gas tank pressurized when you turn the car on?
It's Honda uses a little. It's just a flap.
Oh,
Does it at least lock, or can you open it from the outside without a button?
Well, I'm sure with a
From your-
large screwdriver, you could probably pop it open.
pry it open. Yeah.
I don't know. I had heard that some of the newer cars. This was a few years ago, so I don't know if it was ever true, but they have basically in the filler tube. There's kind of an obstruction. I don't know if it's a coil or something.
Anti-siphon technology.
Yeah. I had thought there was one which, if you tried to put a hose down it, it would divert the hose up out of the gas, which I don't know if that was true or not, or if it's, there's basically like a coil that allows the gas to go through, but keeps it. I haven't tried siphoning in my gas tank, so I don't know.
Well, there's always got to be an air tube so that when you pour that gas in there that fast, air is also coming out at the same time. So there's always going to be some kind of like straw coming back up the tube, right?
But if they want to steal gas, some guys will just jab a hole in the corner of your gas tank and drain it out.
I don't believe in gas caps. I just jab a rag in there.
I think
It
looks cooler and it's faster.
gun-toting pacifist and PNW Woods say the same thing. Rice, beans, and pacifist says hot sauce, but Woods would say pinto beans, then rice, then beans. Complete protein. And that actually does supply you with all the necessary nutrients.
Yeah, Chris Winslet says my Honda Pilot doesn't. I have the Passport, which is the 2-row version. The Pilot is a 3-row version of basically the same vehicle. I guess that was more for him than for anybody else.
I don't know why, but for some reason, Chris looks like my boss from the Navy.
Never mind.
I feel like if you're going to stockpile a bunch of beans, then you don't have to worry about also saving gas.
Yep. Just run off of farts.
So is that your 1,000? You got anything left?
If I had anything remaining, I would spend it on more
Hookers and
ammunition.
blow.
No, that's illegal stuff.
G-Webs.
I missed the original qualifications.
So it's a month. You're preparing for a month of no services. 3 people, 1 medium-sized dog. I think that's, and then we picked kind of a neutral area where it's not too hot, not too cold, just so it applies to the most people.
I'm not a big fan of the dehydrated stuff, although it stays for a long time. It's not good for you, and it's not satisfying, and it's all salty, and it takes a lot of water. And I live in the desert, so I would go for, especially if it's just a month, and I'm assuming this is in place, like you're not booking out of there. Because my first reaction is to, without those parameters, would be you're on the move, right? You're moving during this time. So if you're staying in place, then that means I would say you'd have like a closet or something to put a bunch of beans. So I kind of got here, I think, when you were talking about the whole like dented beans thing. That's a good point. So I would assume it. I haven't done this, but I'm assuming you could go to like online somewhere and just buy beans from some distributor, just brand new, coming from a bean factory, like a pallet of them, or some number quantity of them, where you get them cheap, and then just like drive over there and pick them up or something, so you don't have to get the markup of the store. And I think beans and water is good way to go. All the different kind of beans, green beans and pinto beans and black beans and all the different kind of beans. Because now you got water in the cans right away. You got the cans, which are potentially useful as something, and it's food right away. Like you can literally open a can and survive. The camping stuff is cool for camping. It's really cool for camping, but I don't know. When you're camping, you're usually exercising a lot, so you don't care about eating 3,000 calories worth of whatever, that stuff in a pouch. But I don't think in real life anybody. I mean, I don't know. Maybe I'm just different. I don't think I'd want to eat macaroni and cheese for like a month. I think that'd be way too many carbohydrates and salt, and I'd not be jazzed up. So nobody had said this yet, and this is something else. There's powders. There's all kinds of powder, protein powder, different kind of whey powders, rice powders, egg powders, milk powders. I wouldn't be surprised if they powder meat. You can get pemmican. Nobody's mentioned that. But the powders, the things that you can make like what a person in the normal times would make like a smoothie or some sort of a health shake out of. But those things are powdered, and if you had to, you could probably just eat them and get nutrients. But for the most part, you're putting them into a drink, and some of them are berries, and some of them are probably things that taste better than other things. And so there's that. And if you're talking 3 people and a dog, I'm going to say, do some math there. But those bags are, let's say, $10 a piece. So you throw, $100 worth of those bags, and that supplements a bunch of vitamins, minerals, proteins, and stuff, aminos, and that kind of thing. And then the dog is at least $100 worth of food, and I would say filters and water. So you get a bunch of water, you get a bunch of filters, and then hopefully you can acquire water. Out here, that'd be a lot tougher than some places. And then I guess, again, like the amino things, so go into a health food store and buy in the stuff that weightlifters use. Is there any potential there as a survival, keep a bunch of nutrients flooding your body without having to eat a bunch of salt? And because most of those dehydrated things, unless I'm wrong, are like pastas and macaroni and cheeses. It's a heck of a lot of carbohydrates. Unless you're used to eating that all the time, I don't think I could eat that. Even the rice. I tried eating rice because I bought a rice cooker, and it about killed me. I can't eat rice every day. I'd die. I can't do it. I don't know how people eat rice every day. Vitamins, nobody mentioned, just buying pills, all the different supplements, pills and things like that. So with $1,000 for 3 people, I think you'd probably be able to put enough powders and pills, and nobody else mentioned sauces and what do you call it? Like when you take a soup and you boil the shit out of it. Not really an extract, but like the essence of, or like you people.
Bouillon?
No, not bouillon. That's salt. The essence of the broth, though. Like if you boiled bones, like bone
a
reduction. Thank you. That kind of stuff. So you take a bunch of vegetables and you reduce that down into like a syrup almost. You take chicken or something, you reduce that down, and it's like you use it like a bouillon. It's just that there's no salt in it. It might not taste good, but a couple of gallons of reduced meat stuff, I'll bet you'd all rather be eating that than macaroni and cheese for a month. Is all I'm getting at. Make some rice and pour a bunch of essence of beef, something that you like, on there, even if it isn't exactly what you're looking for. I think that kind of stuff, getting the concentration of whatever. And then nobody mentioned meds, whatever meds people might be on. Or if you're addicted to cigarettes or something, do you keep a pack of, a carton of cigarettes in a deep freeze? that you rotate out. Imagine everything goes crazy and now you can't get your cigarettes or fill in the blank, whatever thing it is that you need. Some people it's chewing gum, right? Like whatever your thing is.
Yeah, the um, vitamins and supplements. That's not a bad idea. That's
Especially
so,
if you're out in the Pacific Northwest or Idaho, where during fall season it's constantly cloudy and your vitamin D meter starts ticking on you.
I guess for $1,000 for 3 people, 1 dog, 1 month, I'm gonna buy batteries just to piss off pacifists. $100 worth of batteries right off the.
If everything's crazy, your radio is going to be only contact you got, right?
Yeah.
Oh, that's why I was thinking batteries is because you get one of those miniature radios and you just plug in a couple of AA batteries. You could tune into any radio frequency that you got that's out there that's still chatting up a storm.
Water is key to survive. You have to have water. That's why I keep some water in. It started because I used to live in a floodplain. So luckily, it would flood more on the other side of town. And we only got stuck, I think, once in we were 15 years. So there would be parts of towns we couldn't get to, but we were only stuck basically flooded in our neighborhood once.
I thought you were going to say because it flooded, you could get a bunch of free water and bottle it while it was flooding.
No, you don't want the flood water because the flood water goes through everything and contains everything it went through. And that's why if your house gets flooded, they say throw away all your food it's all contaminated now. Anything that got flooded. And dog food. That's it. But I was gonna say I have a small dog, but we're going medium dog. So probably 2 bags of 30 pounds is more than a month's worth, I would think. It's been a while since I've had a large dog. And I have candles. I would get candles. Just it's nice to have light if you need light. If the batteries don't work for whatever reason, or you burn up all your batteries, you can't beat a candle. And you can also cook with a candle. I used to do it when I would go camping. I think it was, I don't know what it was, but it worked perfectly. It would fit a can, a can of corn or something like that. And then I just throw a candle underneath it and it would heat up whatever was in the can. And
just because all hell's breaking loose doesn't mean it can't be romantic.
They're not scented candles. Well, it depends on you talking about eating the dog or rationing for the dog? I don't know.
I feel like Gizzard's way too worried about his beard during this time of stress. He's worried all kinds about
Your
Well,
care product.
that came out of Mad Sexy made a comment earlier that he did a experiment with beard oil on his guns, on a gun, and it did not work. And so Gary and Matt have been going back and forth a little bit. And let me say hello to Colostomy Bag. He's hanging out there. I'm guessing it's a. Oh, I gendered somebody again. He's got Morty, so I'm gonna say it's he.
So, and I've been on. I wish I had 50 cents for every time I've been in a conversation about survival and shit hits the fan and stuff like that on the internet over the years. So, I mean, I live in a place where it's a little bit more imminent or whatever. But how long do you think after any amount of craziness to where there's no police going to work because they can't, right? Like police are, people that go to work, and if they can't get to work, then there are no police, right?
Well,
So
if you look at like during Katrina, the cops
that's a long
they
time
went
ago.
home and took care of their families. It
Right, and you
wasn't they
can't
couldn't
blame
get to
them. I
work.
mean, at some point they were told to, or it was just, you expect people who don't live there to come in and help, assist, right? But anyways, in that time, how long do you think in 2022 before, I'm talking big criminals come in and take what's they feel like big time criminals, not like a little kid who's like, oh, nobody's watching, I'm going to sneak in. And, a lot of people I think tend to think of crime in the United States as crimes of opportunity by just some person, when in reality we've got giant industrial crime happening that has massive infrastructure, bigger than some of the biggest companies and whatnot. So how long do you think the folks that are used to working outside the rule of law will just sit back and not decide to just become warlords once there's difficult to maintain rule of law because of some kind of thing we're talking about? So I guess that's what I'm asking, is everybody actually just acts like, oh, everybody's going to be peaceful and leave everybody alone. I think possibly you could be hoping that you're going to find water and food and all these things we're talking about while chaos is happening at the same time. I don't think we all get an opportunity to stay put. Like people go, oh, I would never bug out. Well, what if the world is falling apart around you and you are bugging out because otherwise you die? And then all this prepping and stuff turns into a whole different thing. So I don't know if that's taking it down a different road, but
a little bit. I tried to keep it I tried to keep it in a scenario where you
see a light at the end of the tunnel, and it's an obvious.
So it's more of a little more than an inconvenience, but you're not fighting for your life.
It's kind of like what COVID was in a way.
And that part of that was because when you get into having the bug out, and then for the original scenario, it makes it a lot tougher, which we've kind of blown that already. Which that was I had not considered some options that so I was not completely prepared. But so a little more of a Manila situation, we'll say. So you're not battling in the streets.
You're not worried about defending or like fortifying or any of that. This is everybody's locked down and staying home and not. There's not roaming bands of chaos.
Yeah. For 1,000, I would not get a generator. If I didn't have a sleeping bag or a good blanket, I would get sleeping bags and a good blanket, just so you could stay warm if you need to stay warm. Robert Moore was asking, we're talking prepping. Yes, we're kind of talking prepping, and it was based around you've got $1,000 to prepare for 3 people, 1 medium-sized dog to last a month. So like an interruption of services for a month
in a moderate climate.
Yeah.
So no desert, no mountain snow.
Nothing extreme.
Yeah.
And
mountain snow would be awesome. Just food. food, done. Like, because you got all the water you want with the snow, and then, well, I guess maybe you need some wood or something.
Yeah,
There
you wouldn't
was-
need a refrigerator.
Yeah, exactly. Like, you'd be able to do fine, and plus, you'd probably still be able to hunt if there's snow. Like, you'd probably still get meat.
Yeah, and you have to, like, if this is outside of what we're talking about, but if it's end of the world situation, you have to remember you're competing for resources. So if you're hunting, other people are hunting.
Look at this dude goes to Trader Joe's and buys fancy grass to graze on while he hires somebody to mow his lawn.
The Trader Joe's sucks. My wife likes it for some reason, so she'll go there and buy stuff, but none of their stuff is very good, I don't think.
I'll go into that. I think no, I'm going into. No, it's not Sprouts. What's the other one? There's another one. Whole Foods. I've gone into a Whole Foods before, and it'll be the same brands as in my dollar store, except $7 instead of 99 cents.
Yeah. And M. Gabriel was asking about the knives, and we were assuming that you have knives in your house, a kitchen knife or at least a paring knife or something like that, so you wouldn't have to buy a knife.
You also have clothes and a bed and
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, and I would stay put. I mean, if worst came to worst, my house is not the greatest defensible point. There's a lot of windows. a lot. It's not the best. It's not like a shack out in the middle of a deserted 40-acre where you've got a large killing field. So there's a lot of ways to sneak up on my house. But I would, if at all possible, I'm staying put. I don't want to be out there wandering around with wife, kids, and a dog.
Yep.
Kids plural? Thought we only had one.
Well, I have two.
Oh,
So,
not in this scenario.
no, but that in that scenario, I don't want to leave. I've got shelter, I've got food, I've got supplies right
So
here.
one kid carry the other kid, and then they wear a raincoat, and it looks like a single person from a distance.
Other than that,
So food being hard to find in a normal time when there's no pressure on resources, things are. And then when there are pressure on resources, things are different, right? So everybody can go fishing, no problem. When there's single boats out there going fishing on a weekend,
yeah,
when there's a fit boat out there constantly because everyone's desperate for fish, they either get reduced to nothing, the population's gone, or the fish leave because they're not idiots. And they got a whole ocean they can hang out in. If there's a bunch of boats over here, they're gonna go somewhere else. So I think that's doesn't work. Things aren't the same when things are different.
good night, Gary. Gary does a morning chat, the early bird chat. It's 7 a.m. Pacific. What is that? 11, 7, 8, 9, or 10, 11 Eastern? Something, I don't know.
Really? It's not even on in the morning. I thought it was on in the morning.
Eastern is 3 hours difference.
Oh, 10.
Crazy. So we're getting up early. We're getting up ass early to listen to the Gizzard Show, and everybody else is like, "Oh, after brunch, I'm gonna go take a run, and then I'm gonna listen to the Gizzard Show."
So yeah, 10 Eastern. So I don't know. That's about how I would spend my 1,000. But I've got, I don't stockpile. I wouldn't say I stockpile, but like food wise, I've got food probably at least 3 weeks of just dry goods. And water for, since there's 4 plus the dog, And if 1 gallon a day, and I've got 65, so
10 days.
yeah, because I was shooting, I wanted 2 weeks of water. Well, I wanted a little more than that, but at least 2 weeks of water in reserve.
And your water tank will be full.
Yeah, that's another. That was something that I had thought about because I would love to go to a tankless, but with having a water tank, that's 15, 20 gallons of water right there. And then if worst comes to worst, you go Duke Nukem, you've got your tanks on your toilets, the back tank, not the bottom tank, not the bowl.
The fresh stuff, not the dirty.
Yeah.
That's for the dog. What are you talking about?
My house only has urinals.
And then we've got a pond next door, so if we really had to. I guess I would get filters for water filters, something for filtering water, life straws, or I'd love to have one of the stainless steel fancy ones, but they're kind of expensive.
I do have one, but I assumed we weren't including stuff we already owned in the budget.
No. Like again, this was poorly planned and poorly executed. So, what I thought would be kind of fun and easy went out the window really early.
Well, fuck
But
it. You know how we should end? How are you spending $1,000 for apocalypse prepping? We'll close it out that way. Do a little fun. $1,000 worth of condoms and assless chaps. I mean, what are you doing?
all chaps are assless, so you just need to buy chaps.
There you go.
Robert Moore says he's got 3 years worth of food supplies stored up. If I had more property, I would probably have more stored up. Have like a 50-gallon barrels of water.
Right.
I had one of those, the blue plastic ones.
Yeah.
Had a rat eat into the bottom of it, drained the entire thing. That was fun.
Yeah.
I hope you killed the rat.
I did. Yeah. Wasn't very fun, but he's dead.
I was just reading Guns and Barbecue. Oh, his daughter thought the urinal was a backwasher.
That's why you guys don't have long hair. So that we get them all wet and then we sit on the urinals.
So Apocalypse 1000. I'm getting 1022 and then the rest in just 22 ammo. That's all I want.
I don't know, claymores and grenades.
Are you buying them off the black market for $1,000? How many are you getting? 2?
Well, a lot cheaper than that, actually, to be honest, if you're getting them off the black market.
I would then I would invest in a lot of freeze dried, lots of freeze dried, because you're looking long term. And water filter, because you can't store. I mean, it'd be good to have some way to store water, but you're going to need to go find more water.
I'm just going to drink the blood of my enemies in the apocalypse.
Eat
That
their
does-
hearts to gain
that
their
do-
power.
That does sound like something you would do.
Hence the 22. I don't want a lot of blood loss before I get to him.
All right, come here. Stop struggling. I want to eat your heart.
That's why I bought my Marlin. It was so
Cannibalism?
No. For if things went bad, then I had something I could hunt.
Yeah.
The squirrels or even birds, and not
Henry.
not completely
boy.
destroy them.
Rabbits.
I think I'd rather go with like a 17 HMR or something like that.
That will explode small game.
17? A little fucking 17? Really?
Yep. It's a fast moving around, and it'll blow things up.
I don't know. My brother's killed some pretty decent stuff with a little 17. Killed rabbits, squirrels. Pretty nice when you got a scope on them and you can headshot all of them.
Yeah.
Ammo availability, though. How much 17 HMR are you going to find in the world?
Yeah, sure, ammo availability, but when you've stocked up on it, because it's relatively just as much almost in between there, and you throw the factor that 22 ammo accuracy tends to vary from brand to brand and rifle to rifle, so
Ken Thompson's bringing up an air rifle. That's not a bad idea for small game and stuff.
But is it going to work against human?
It'll put an eye out.
shoot him in the dick. That's what-
I don't know, who is it? Pacifist? Does Pacifist still have a BB in him? I think he does.
A BB
Was
in
it
him.
him? Yeah.
Oh, man.
I mean,
Shot
it
his
might
head.
work, but I'm going to want semi-auto and at least 22 if I'm dealing with a human.
I think I would rather go with like a pump or lever action because of my 1022, it jams even with the 10 round mag a lot.
That's
Pacifist
weird.
had it removed last summer. There's DJ Play Nice out there. I like the 22 is also quieter, so it's not a big boom, so it won't be heard from as far away.
And unless you're like me that likes to go out hunting squirrels and rabbits with a 12 gauge shotgun shooting bird shot.
But you wouldn't want to do that in the apocalypse.
Number 8. I think I was using number 8 bird shot. Killing squirrels when I went out hunting out in Grants Pass.
But I can use my dog to kill squirrels. He's good at that.
Oh boy. It's just giving it up after the fact.
Well, he's pretty good. When I tell him to drop it, he'll drop it. And then I'd get the shovel out and launch it over the fence.
Anyone else? We kill it? Topic dead?
I think so.
I believe so too.
I don't. I think I said it at the beginning. Beginning.
Beginning.
I'm not. I don't prep for the end of the world. I'm more for short-term need, and then somewhat longer term if it turned out to be longer. But I'm not prepared for the zombie apocalypse.
Unlike some.
I feel like I am prepared just because I shoot guns, so I already have most of the stuff I would need anyway. Like I already have thousands of rounds of 22 just because I shoot 22. Not because I'm wanting to suck blood out of someone's forehead after I shot him in the apocalypse.
Yeah, be careful about that. You shoot them in the head, you might get and start sucking their blood. You might get that tannic acid.
I say you get superpowers.
Oh, wow. Are we going to shut her down?
We go on Amazon and look up chaps.
I think I'm going to pass.
Let's see. Chaps. Yeah, there's lots. There's leather chaps, and there's chainsaw chaps.
Maybe that's one thing we didn't talk about. Having a good chainsaw, like a chainsaw for a short period of time.
For a month? What are you using it for?
Well, I mean, in case something happens afterwards, during that time period.
So is this what you're looking for?
Did you find some nice chaps? There you go.
Wonder what happens if you add assless.
Yeah, not post that. Oh, that's an Amazon picture.
It's pretty much the same. Pink. They have pink ones.
Oh boy.
She's thick. Yeah, now we're
I don't think you even need to feed her for the whole month. She's fine.
Make her go anorexic.
Yeah.
Some jorts. That's pretty much the ones that I sent to barbecue. That's what they look like.
I wouldn't get those because they don't have enough pockets for me.
They have hints of pockets. It's even got the watch pocket. There you go. You can carry your watch in those jorts.
Your pocket watch.
Well, Gun Toting Pacifist asked, where is this chat gone? Well, it really didn't start anywhere, and we never got off.
Slow burn tonight.
I think pretty much we got just out of the driveway, and the car died.
That's how much that's how much gas we had in the tank.
And yeah, oops, sorry, Robert Moore. I know they're pronounced shafts, but everybody knows them as chaps. So I say chaps just so everybody knows what we're talking about. Yeah, city people. Well, you could have jumped in at the beginning, Pacifist. You know where the link is. Hang on here. I got to close the chaps and jorts windows because it's distracting.
Right. You're going to start getting those recommended to you now.
I'll turn my camera off and I'll be back in a minute. Yeah, I guess we killed it. Killed the chat.
Kind of like Charlie Brown and the Christmas tree.
But while I'm thinking about it, GearWebsites.com for your 2A related patches, t-shirts, stickers, and other stuff. GearWebsites.com. Robert Moore is asking any wild hogs in your area. Luckily, they have not made it up this far north, as far as I know.
No, there are not any in Washington.
We have wild frogs here.
Yeah, we have those here too. We don't. This year we didn't have the. You can't hear any frogs on the chats. They weren't out there this year. Well, there were some, but it wasn't like it was a couple of years ago. I don't know. Maybe they all got COVID and died. Ken Thompson's asking, "Hey everybody, what's your favorite lube?" Liquid Silk.
Ballistol.
So, all right, Iron Road.
What's up?
You gonna keep making videos?
Yeah, I'm trying. I had some footage last weekend for my M1 shooting, but unfortunately, when I tried to get it to come over to the YouTube side, I got corrupted.
Oh, we'll try again.
Yep, gonna have to redo it all again. So.
Did you get that battle side set?
Yeah, I did though. That actually really helped. The last video you sent me was the biggest one because even the instructions themselves never specified which side of the screw. You know, was it the screw on the elevation knob or is it the screw on the windage knob?
So, Pacifist, how you doing? Hey, that's great.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, there you go.
Hey,
How's it going? Thanks for the invite, brother.
Yeah, there you go. Oh, no problem. Yeah.
How's it going? Thanks for the invite, brother.
Oh, somebody's got an echo.
they're probably watching the stream and in the stream at the same exact time.
Well, somebody's probably drunk and forgot to take care of that. I don't know, anything you want to talk about? We're kind of shutting it down because this chat didn't end up where it was supposed to.
Well, I would have jumped in earlier, but I just didn't want to do math. That whole $1,000 thing.
Yeah, well, pretty much really quickly that $1,000 kind of went out the window, and we referenced it, but not really.
I mean, that amount of money goes really fast, even in like a 30-day type scenario.
It does, because if you think about it, that's if you're talking purchases, that's $100 purchases, $100 purchases.
Even without batteries, that goes really fast.
Anything you want to plug?
I've been trying to be more active with the YouTube channel. I've had a few videos out the last few weeks. I have another one coming out tomorrow morning. Pay attention to it. It's a 22 long rifle video with a Swedish company that has kind of flooded the market as far as ammo goes. And they have really great deals, great website. Free shipping over $149, but they make incredible deals, especially this past summer where they'll free ship to you for $49 or more. and give you free boxes of 22 LR with your 9mm purchases. So pay attention to that video tomorrow morning. Thank you again, DM Foss, for the invite. I appreciate it, brother. You're great.
Well, thank you. That's very kind of you to say. G Webs, you want to plug something?
I would like to plug the idea of 100 $10 battery purchases. Thanks for hosting the show and having a link, or hosting a link and having a show. Whatever happened tonight, I'm getting tired. Thanks for the show.
No problem. Baron?
I got nothing. Oh, if you want advice on your M1, come to the Gilded server. I will post the link.
Baron's all about that M1.
And I will clear out the Clinton stuff before you get there.
Advice as far as what, like purchasing one or maintaining one?
Yes.
Everything.
Everything. Okay.
I'm the guy.
I ordered the Timney trigger for the Let's Build a Rifle project for the 450 Bushmaster.
Hey.
So I should get that next week. And I need to get another pole up. So tomorrow, if I remember, I'll put up a new poll for another decision for the rifle. No guarantees. And so for most of us now, it is officially 9/11. So it's kind of a day to remember those who have passed. And so I think we will end just with a silence and no outro. So if you're up in the morning, check out Gizzard Gary's. Other than that, I hope everyone has a good night.